So this is gonna be a more serious video regarding SAS and their most recent. I mean, could you call it an ad? It's more propaganda. I actually got notified by my brother because this completely flew me by as I was working, and this commercial, this ad, was released, and as the moment of this recording, this actually has 63,000 downvotes versus 4,600 upvotes. So yikes! And as you saw the commercial, I wanted to post it and unedited, and you can see it without me stopping it every 2 seconds and see what it is actually like. It is the worst commercial I've ever seen coming out of Scandinavia, and I'm actually gonna break down a few of the points that are shared in this video. I have a few notes in front of me. What is truly Scandinavian? Absolutely nothing. That is a complete lie. Scandinavia has its own culture, own music, own languages. So to even start out this commercial with nothing is Scandinavian, and even closes out with that we're basically stolen everything, which this commercial actually goes through. Where they are actually some of the points are just concepts or ideas, and not even inventions, so to speak. They said there is no such thing as a Scandinavian, and I'm appalled. What is the point of this company to actually to try to? Are they trying to get more? Are they trying to get more customers? Because I'm gonna give you a little bit of more information, because there are a lot of American or some people who are commenting on this that are not from Scandinavia, and me being from Norway, actually my taxpayer money went to save this company a few years ago from being bankrupt. The Norwegian government basically bought shares to get money flow into the company, and they recovered, and the government sold their shares after the company got on its feet again. And then they have the audacity to do such a thing, and basically claim that we in Scandinavia that basically made sure this company even exists today. We have no culture. There's nothing Scandinavian. Everything is copied. That's exactly what they said. Everything is basically copied from other cultures. So the democracy credit goes to Greece. Now there is a lot to be admired that came from Greece. It basically started what we would consider the West, but there are still concepts and ideas that even the Greeks didn't have, but they basically made the fundamental changes to democracy as we know it. I would say the English probably had the biggest influence the last 200 or so years when it comes to democracy. Parental leave credit goes to Switzerland. So what? So just because they had parental leave, it means the other countries didn't try to figure this out. This is basically a concept and some sort of idea, and Switzerland were the first to implement it. Does that make them? They invented this, and the Scandinavians just stole it. That makes no sense whatsoever. What about welfare? I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever. So windmills are Turkish. Again, what Scandinavian claims that they are Danish, for instance? The Danes are pretty much well known for the windmills. But did they ever say? I've never heard a Danish say, and I have a family in Denmark, and I've never heard one of them claim, windmills are just Danish, part of Danish culture, and we invented them. It's like it's not even a straw man. It's just making arguments that no one is making, and claiming that this is against everything. That Scandinavia didn't even invent this when no one is making that case. And then you have Reupload, which it was shown in the commercial, and it's Dutch. Again, there is no one claiming it's a part of. So all cuisines have gone through evolutions. Culture evolves from other things, gets inspired, changes. We have plenty of food, which are local dishes here in Norway, which they didn't mention, which no one else, as far as I know, eat, like pinnekjøtt, where we have basically salted ribs from a sheep, which we it might sound a little bit disgusting, but it's basically dampened, not boiled, but it gets moisture, and then we eat it with a potato after a few hours of cooking it. Why wasn't that mentioned? Because they selectively cherry pick what they wanted you to share this propaganda. So this type of bread, that means bread that basically most of the world eats on a daily basis. Well, because this one instance of bread, it's not part of Scandinavian culture. Licorice is from China. So what? It's the Danish that have made it well known. Why does this even matter? Midsommardagen, it's from Germany, but it's the Swede that celebrated. The Germans, they have Ante Dankfest, which is 3rd of October, to basically celebrate the crops and also the German National Day. So the Germans don't really celebrate this, and it gets worse. This is probably the worst part of the commercial. In middle of it, this blonde woman just said, and it gets worse. Swedish meatballs are Turkish. So again, so what? The Swedish meatballs are made in a special. We even have Norwegian meatballs, but it's not the Swedes that are calling them Swedish meatballs. It's everyone else calling them Swedish meatballs. There are Norwegian meatballs, but nobody is calling the meatballs Norwegian. So again, it's again making arguments nobody is making. Paperclip is claimed to be American, which is actually a lie. I pulled up this article, which I'm gonna link in the description below. Updated July 13th, 2019. Historical references describe fastening papers together as early as the 13th century. During this time, people put ribbon through a parallel incisions in the upper left-hand corner of pages. Later, people started to wax the ribbons to make them stronger and easier to undo and redo. This was the way people clipped papers together for the next 600 years. This is what they actually refer to in the commercial. In 1835, a New York physician named John Ireland Howe invented the machine for mass producing straight pins, which then became a popular way to fasten papers together, although they were not originally designed for that purpose. Straight pins were designed to be used in sewing and tailoring and to be temporarily fastened cloth together. Then we have the actual invention of the paperclip. Johan Voller, a Norwegian inventor with degrees in electronic science and mathematics, invented the paperclip in 1899. He received a patent for his designs from Germany in 1899, as Norway had no patent laws at that time. So again, they're actually lying in this commercial, because the paperclip was not invented by an American. And let's go through Danish pastry. This is the same with the Swedish meatballs. In Denmark or in Scandinavia, they call it wienerbrød, which is bread of Vienna, not Danish pastry. It's everywhere else. Everyone is calling it a Danish pastry, probably because the Danes do them pretty well. Germans do them pretty well, make them pretty well, and also the Austrians. but it's called Danish pastry because probably the impression people got was, well, it comes the guys in or guys in girls in Denmark are making them pretty well, so let's call it Danish. I don't even know the origin of it, but again, an argument no one is making in Denmark. And the women's rights movement was invented somehow in the United States. Again, no one is making that argument in Scandinavia for all intents and purposes. I mean, if you look at Jordan Peterson's argument, or looking at the paradox of equality, you have women choosing more of the feminine traits, and in regards to their hobbies and jobs, and same goes for men. The more equal we get, the more choice we have, the more we choose what is natural to us. And there is a brilliant documentary regarding this, made by the Norwegian talk show host, which actually has a master's degree in sociology, which I can also link down below. So no one has the idea or invented the idea of equality. So that's, again, a lie. We are no better than our Viking ancestors. Whoever made this either is willingly doing propaganda or has no idea about Vikings and what they actually did, which is, I have actually studied them a little bit because of my job. Vikings were, for the most part, explorers and trading, and trading dry fish for the most part, and pelts in the most southern regions of Europe to get equipment to what they couldn't make at home, and getting steel, for instance, which was very hard to get in Norway. So equipment and things like that. And only when the Norwegians gained a little bit of power and conquered Scandinavia and started colonizing Iceland and things like that, from 1872 till 1066, they actually had some sort of power where they actually invaded other countries. And saying that we are no better than our Viking ancestors completely disregards any invention and progress they did for entire Scandinavia and even Europe for some years. Which means we are basically plagiarizing, and I see also the diversity propaganda here, where they have, of course, all of the minorities front and center. And everyone else has this white guilt over them. And I've seen, I actually got sent by my brother today, where they are actually now blaming the alt-right for the attacks because they pulled down or unlisted they unlisted the commercial on their own channel because of right extreme network. Let's look at actually the headline. I can post the article if you're interested, but it is in Norwegian, and a Swedish fact checker is claiming amongst to Aftonbladet in Sweden that the reactions to the SS ad are being basically done from alt-right and Russian bots in the world. So we have this agenda already going, even within our own mainstream media, and now they are claiming there are also threats, which I don't know. I honestly don't know, but apparently there are threats involved as well. And so we are this ad actually just claims we are plagiarizing. We've gone out in the world and just plagiarized, which is garbage. We invented a lot of the means of travel when it comes by sea. Even had the biggest fleet during the Second World War, saving Britain from doom by supplying them. And that basically Scandinavia was brought here, which is it is also completely disregarding the natives that were here before the more southern Europeans came here about 10,000 years ago, and they completely forgot they are here. They are not Scandinavian either, according to this commercial. The Sami people, they actually just celebrated their national holiday, so this commercial is just garbage, horrible garbage. I don't know what else to describe this with. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time.